I was halfway through my lunch break when my phone rang. The caller ID showed Sheriff's Dispatch. Normally that wasn't unusual. What was unusual was the panic in the dispatcher's voice. "Deputy Mason, where's your patrol boat?" I frowned. "At Lake Clearwater." A pause. Then came the words I never expected to hear. "It's gone." For a moment I thought she was joking. Then I realized she wasn't. My name is Deputy Ryan Mason. For 12 years I had worked with the County Sheriff's Marine Unit. Most officers patrolled roads. I patrolled water. Our unit covered hundreds of miles of lakes and waterways. That morning my patrol boat had been tied to the department dock at Lake Clearwater. By lunchtime it had disappeared. And somehow, the person responsible was the president of our HOA. Chapter 2. Meet Karen Holloway. Karen Holloway had a reputation. If a mailbox leaned 2 inches to the left, Karen noticed. If a trash can remained outside 10 minutes too long, Karen noticed. If somebody parked incorrectly, Karen noticed. Unfortunately, Karen had recently become obsessed with the sheriff's dock. The dock sat near the entrance to our neighborhood lake. Residents loved seeing deputies nearby. Karen hated it. She claimed the boat looked ugly. She claimed it lowered property values. She claimed law enforcement equipment didn't belong near residential homes. Nobody agreed with her. But Karen wasn't interested in opinions. She was interested in control. Chapter 3. The Threat. 3 weeks before the boat disappeared, Karen confronted me. I had just finished fueling the vessel. Karen marched down the dock carrying a folder. "That boat needs to go." I laughed. "It's a sheriff's boat." "I know." "Then you know it's staying." Karen's face tightened. "We'll see." That response bothered me. Mostly because Karen rarely made threats she couldn't act on. And unfortunately, she had a plan. Chapter 4. The Missing Boat. When I arrived at the marina, chaos had already begun. Supervisors were present. Marine deputies were present. Even detectives were present. Everybody was asking the same question. Where was the boat? Security footage provided the answer. At 9:14 a.m. a private towing vessel approached the dock. Workers disconnected the sheriff's boat. Then they towed it away. Legally. Or at least they thought it was legal. The paperwork authorizing the removal carried one signature. Karen Holloway. Chapter 5. Karen's biggest mistake. Karen believed the boat was simply parked illegally. What she didn't know was that the vessel wasn't just a patrol boat. It was evidence. The boat was actively involved in an ongoing criminal investigation. Several specialized cameras, tracking equipment, and surveillance technology were installed on board. Removing it had interrupted a major operation. When investigators learned this fact, everything changed. What started as an HOA dispute suddenly became a law enforcement matter. And Karen's problems became much larger. Chapter 6. The Celebration. Like many people who make terrible decisions, Karen celebrated too early. She posted online. She bragged in neighborhood groups. She told residents she had finally gotten rid of the ugly police boat. Unfortunately for her, screenshots last forever. Every post was saved. Every comment was archived. Every statement became evidence. By sunset, dozens of investigators had seen her messages. And none of them looked impressed. Chapter 7. The Community Reacts. The next morning the story spread through the neighborhood. Residents were stunned. Many couldn't believe Karen had actually ordered the removal of sheriff's property. Parents were angry. Retirees were angry. Business owners were angry. The sheriff's boat had protected the lake for years. It responded to emergencies. Rescued stranded boaters. Assisted during storms. Most residents appreciated its presence. Karen was one of the few who didn't. And now everyone knew it. Chapter 8. The Town Hall Meeting. 3 days later an emergency town hall meeting was scheduled. The room overflowed with people. News crews lined the walls. Karen arrived looking confident. That confidence lasted about 10 minutes. The sheriff himself entered the room. Then county attorneys. Then investigators. The atmosphere changed immediately. For the first time Karen looked nervous. Very nervous. Chapter 9. The Evidence. The sheriff's office presented documents. Then security footage. Then witness statements. The evidence was overwhelming. Karen had repeatedly been informed the boat belonged to law enforcement. She ignored those warnings. She contacted contractors anyway. She signed paperwork anyway. She authorized removal anyway. Every decision had been documented. Every mistake had been recorded. And every resident in the room saw it happen. Chapter 10. The twist nobody expected. Just when Karen's situation seemed impossible to worsen, it did. Investigators revealed the active criminal case connected to the boat had involved organized theft operations around the lake. The vessel's surveillance systems had been collecting evidence. Karen's actions delayed part of the operation. Nobody accused her of helping criminals. But her interference had created serious complications. The room fell silent. Even Karen stopped talking. Chapter 11. The fallout. Within days, the HOA board held an emergency vote. Several board members resigned. Others publicly apologized. Karen refused. She insisted she had done nothing wrong. Residents disagreed. Overwhelmingly. The vote wasn't close. Karen was removed as HOA president. Immediately. The announcement received applause. Lots of applause. Chapter 12. One final rescue. A month later, severe storms struck the area. High winds damaged docks. Several boats broke loose. Families became stranded on the lake. Guess which vessel responded first? The same sheriff's boat Karen tried to remove. For 14 straight hours, our marine unit conducted rescues. Dozens of residents were assisted. Several lives may have been saved. The local news covered everything. And residents suddenly remembered why the boat was there in the first place. Final chapter. One evening I stood on the dock watching the sun disappear behind the water. The lake was calm. The neighborhood was peaceful. And our patrol boat sat exactly where it belonged. A young boy approached with his father. He pointed toward the vessel. Is that the boat Karen tried to get rid of? I laughed. That's the one. The boy smiled. I'm glad it stayed. So am I. Because some people see a police boat and only notice how it looks. Others understand why it's there. Karen never learned the difference. And that's why her story ended the way it did. The end.